Hello and welcome to another episode of TV Enthusiast's weekly show, Marvel vs. DC vs. TVE. I am your host, Will Rohrg, the keeper of comics. Joining me tonight is Tyson Gifford, editor-in-chief of TV Enthusiast.
Hello.
And this week we are going to discuss the latest episodes of Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, let's get on it. Let's get right to it. Let's discuss The Flash. This episode was The Runaway Dinosaur. This episode also has the distinction of being directed by Kevin Smith, who is apparently a big fanboy of the show.
He's directing one next season too.
Yep, he's directing next season. In fact, he's so enamored with this show. This was a kind of this kind of takes you out of the action a little bit. This one is a more emotional, touchy-feely episode than what we're used to get. There's some action with like a zombie girder or something, but that's
For real?
for real? I know. Zombies for real? That's mostly forgettable fluff. The real meat of this episode is we find out what happened to Barry, and Barry didn't just simply die from that accident. He got sucked into the Speed Force, and we find out that the Speed Force is actually a sentient, living being, and they're testing Barry, basically forcing Barry to deal with, to come to terms with, I guess what happened with his mother.
Yeah, they were pointing out that, like, even though he's was able to make the hard choice last season, and even though he was able to get his dad out of jail, that there's still something that he can't put to rest. And it came out in the episode, for instance, that he'd, like, never visited her gravesite.
Yeah, he never visited her gravesite. So the whole episode he spends inside the Speed Force. Speed Force is appearing as people he knows, including eventually his mom.
Where everybody's telling him to sit.
And where everybody's telling him to sit, yeah.
Sit, Barry, sit. Good boy.
Good boy. There's an attempt by Cisco and the gang to, like, rescue Barry from the Speed Force.
Yeah, after Cisco vibes him.
Yeah.
By catching the suit.
After Cisco vibes him and finds out he's still alive. Basically what happens is Barry eventually, finds the piece that he's searching for inside the Speed Force, and he rejoins the gang in, like, the real world, and, they stop Zombie Girder, and then we get a taste, and then the ending is we get a taste of, like, Zoom's ultimate plan, which is he's gathering all the metahumans that he can. Like, he has this big army of metahumans.
Yeah, there's a big shot. There's a Jason Mewes cameo hidden in that big shot.
Yeah.
You can't really tell it's him though because he's wearing a mask.
There's another Jason Mewes cameo in the episode too. That was my mom's car.
There's two in the episode, yeah. So of course there is because it's a Kevin Smith directed episode.
It's Kevin Smith. As far as episodes go, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a very emotional episode for me. I don't know about you, but that hit me, like, directly in the feels.
Yeah, I had some kind of issues with it in kind of the most emotional parts, and it just feels like maybe I'm nitpicking. But like, I don't know, to me it feels weird that, like, the book is supposed to be about, like, you're special because you have the mom that loves you or something, but like the way it's kind of written is like kind of from the perspective of the mom telling the kid. Doesn't that make the mother dinosaur seem really self-righteous or
Oh yeah.
You're special because I'm great.
Yeah. You're special because I'm the best.
Yeah. So I remember thinking like, oh, that's a little weird. Like I get the sentiment and I like the sentiment, but it's just kind of like weird that they put it from that perspective. You know?
Technically it's from the perspective of the Speed Force.
Yeah. But the way it's told in the book, I mean, like, you think you'd want the, you want the perspective in the book to be from, like, the dinosaur's point of view or something, and then that would be like the, oh, yeah, he really cares about his mom kind of thing. But, the way it's written is kind of weird, you know? I don't know. That's just me, though. That's me nitpicking.
Flash writer's not good at writing children's books, confirmed.
Yeah. Yep, they just don't have the chops for the children book.
Nope. Moving on to Arrow. This week was another Felicity episode where we find out that Felicity gets her annoyingness directly from her mother when her mother makes a similar self-righteous speech to Quentin just for something stupid. I guess he was gonna fib about something just to keep being a cop, and she's like, "Oh, you can't lie," and it's like, "Holy shit, turn it down a notch."
The best thing to come out of this episode is that now we can genuinely say that Felicity is a monster who murdered 10,000 people.
I love that. That's what I was talking about. Like I just love that. Like out of context, I say, I was talking about the episode with somebody who hadn't seen it, and I was like, do you care if I spoil it? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, because Felicity like murders like 10,000 people in this episode, and they're like, what? You're making that up. I'm like, no, she legit kills a bunch of people.
That makes the ending a little off because it should be like Felicity that's rolling with power. That monster.
Under the dome, lol. They got Vinnie Jones back for this episode, which I thought, okay. They're bringing out this first, Flash brings Girder back, and now they bring Vinnie Jones back and, Arrow.
And that was, a waste, too, anyways. I mean, Vinnie Jones' character on Arrow was, boring.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. He was. Holy cow. So basically, what's going on is Dark has this mumbo-jumbo thing from Argus that he stole last episode that could the
nuke controller.
Yeah, the nuke controller that could automatically let him launch a bunch of all the nukes in the world or something. And he's going to do that because he wants to reset the world, Book of Genesis style. That's why his plan is called Genesis, because, subtlety isn't his strong point.
Yeah. He's, his plan is to have this kind of underground chamber, live on. In this episode, we get another, old appearance, from another villain, showing up to ruin Dark's plans.
Mm-hmm. Lonnie Maychick or whatever, who has a real hate on for Dark ever since, Dark, double-crossed him in that one episode after he hired him. So his goal has been to kill Dark and to stop in this whole time. And so Lonnie Maychick goes into the secret Genesis hideout. How he found it, I don't know. It's not explained.
Because plot.
Yeah, because plot. He just finds it and gets in, even though this thing is underground, it has to be heavily guarded.
He was walking down the street, skipping, whistling to himself, having a merry old day, and then he just kind of one of the rocks he kind of accidentally kicked, like, made a really loud echo, and he was like, hmm? What's this?
What's this? A secret passage. Also, we find out that the reason Thea is in there is because of Malcolm Merlin.
Yeah.
Doing whatever he can to protect his daughter. Aw.
Malcolm Merlin and his robot hand.
His robot hand, yeah. So basically, what Lion Matrix wants to do is he wants to turn off the something so that everybody will just freaking die as soon as the nukes go off. Some life support system in the dome. That's his plan. Thea stops him.
Thea is like, I don't really want to be here. I hate what you guys are doing, but I can't honestly just let him kill a bunch of people for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason, exactly. Honestly, can't just let him kill people. I mean, that storyline that happened so that could give Thea something to do this episode, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing. But basically, the main plot is since Dark is launching these nukes, Felicity realizes the only person in the world who could possibly hack the encryption on the magic device that Dark stole is her father, the super genius hacker.
The calculator.
A calculator. Oh, God.
Also known as the Texas Instrument.
Yeah, the Texas Instrument. So basically, Felicity and crew realize that they search out to find him, but they're not the only ones who realize it, because Dark realizes this too, and he sends Vinnie Jones out to kill him. Of course, that plan doesn't work because Team Arrow finds him before he gets killed, and they rescue him. And then there's a lot of like tension between Felicity and her dad, but Felicity realizes she needs her father to help her stop Armageddon. So in the climax of the episode, they all get together and they're frantically like typing away. Oh yeah, there's oh yeah. Oh, I forgot. There's also like a thing where, because Felicity is like ignoring board meetings and stuff, and generally not
cracked up when that happened.
Because Felicity is generally not doing her job at all. She gets fired. I mean, shock of shocks. Who knew not doing your job meant you got fired? I don't know.
I was laughing through that whole thing.
So
they had to infiltrate to steal like a quantum processor or something.
Yeah, another fucking plot device.
Because plot, yeah.
Because plot. So they break into Palmer Tech and steal that. That happened. But so with everything they need, they're frantically trying to shut down the nukes, and they almost succeed, except one manages to launch, one manages to get away from them. And so what are they gonna do? Their backs against the wall. Felicity's brilliant freaking plan is to just confuse it so that it nukes somewhere else besides its intended target, which made me ask why. I love that dialogue though, because like right after it happens, like they're like, oh well, that other place it would have been millions, so it's not so bad. It's like, it's fucking horrible either way.
Yeah. It's like no emotional reaction by anybody.
Yeah, nobody is horrified at what just happened. They're like, well, at least it wasn't millions, right, guys?
The Felicity, murderer of thousands.
Nobody gives a shit. They're all high-fiving each other, it's like, really? And I bet this has like zero impact on that universe too. Like the next episode, it'll probably just be like Felicity like guilt tripping herself over it, and then like Oliver will give her like some comforting speech, and then that will be the last anybody cares about that happening.
Felicity's guilt trip will all be about herself too.
Oh yeah, it will be. It won't be about like anybody.
She'll be feeling guilty because she's sad that she killed people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why do I have to be sad? Why am I torturing myself?
Yeah, why am I torturing myself? When did I become Oliver Queen? And it's like a town in the U.S. just got nuked. That is a significant event. That is like worse than 9/11. That can't possibly be glossed over, but it's going
But it will be.
Yeah.
You only got 2 episodes left in the season, so it will be.
So just think, Felicity is now responsible for an event worse than 9/11. Good job, Felicity.
Felice bin Laden.
Yeah. And basically, they find out where Dark's magical hideout is inside the mayor's office. They go there, confront Dark, and Dark is already harvesting the power from all the dead people Felicity killed.
Yeah, stealing all Felicity's hard-earned power.
Yeah. So basically, Dark is now more powerful than ever as Oliver confronts him, and it goes to credits.
Yeah. Still not a great show.
No, still not a great show either. No. Dumb. Although I hope the finale is exciting at least.
We got one more Arrowverse show to cover.
Yep, we have DC's Legends of Tomorrow. This is the penultimate episode before the season finale, in which the Time Masters reveal that they're helping Vandal Savage. The Time Masters reveal to Rip that they're helping Vandal Savage because Vandal Savage is the only one who can defeat an alien invasion from the Thangarians in the future, and they've looked into every possible scenario, and the only way the Thangarians lose is if Vandal Savage is in control of the world. And then they go one step further, and they reveal that they've been manipulating all the events since the beginning of the show.
Then they all collectively twirled their mustaches.
Yep, they were like, we've been manipulating everything. It's like they're the ones who even ordered Vandal Savage to kill Rip Hunter's family just so Rip Hunter would do all the things that he's done.
You think they do something like stage their murder and then abduct them and then say, you went through all of this, it's not so bad, here's your family back. But no, they go the full mustache twirling route and
Nope, they're full villains. So having realized this, they decide that, they're all captured, and the Time Masters try to brainwash Mick back into being Kronos. Laren Snart and Sarah, who escaped from, who successfully hid from the Time Masters, escaped being captured, go to rescue the team. Mick, resists being brainwashed for a second time, and as Kronos
stomps a guy's head in.
And basically they freed the team.
And nobody reacted to that either. He just murdered somebody by stomping their head in, and everyone's just like, well, let's get going. It's like, yeah, the guy's a bad guy, but wow, this is...
They just look and laugh. They're like, haha, classic Mick. They don't give a shit. So basically, the Time Masters revealed to Rip Hunter the machine that they're using to see the future.
An Oculus Rift.
The Oculus Rift, yep. The Time Masters work for Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg is the head of the organization. He's also Lex Luthor. Surprise! That's why this organization is evil, duh.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. But basically, they reveal that they've been using that to manipulate the events. And after a powwow deciding what they should do, Rip Hunter decides that they can't be sure anything they do is going to be the result of the Time Master's manipulation unless they destroy that machine.
Yeah. Unless they destroy the Oculus Rift.
Yep. So they set out to destroy it. Meanwhile, I think they sent Jax. They sent him back. Martin Stein sent him back in time because I think
he was dying. Yeah,
he was dying. He was aging last episode, so he got sent back to 2016. He somehow. So they go to destroy the Oculus Rift. They're outnumbered. They're outgunned. It seemed like they're gonna fail. But then Jax returns with a time ship somehow. He was in 2016. I don't know how he got that, but
they returned that jump ship. I guess the jump ship that was supposed to have only one way to get back to 2016, a one-time time travel, actually had a means of getting back to the future. Which is funny because they had the moment where Jax came and talked to Stein like right after the meeting where they were first introduced to Rip.
Yep.
And it was a total like Back to the Future moment, like when at the very end of Back to the Future 2. Yeah, Back to the Future 2, when Marty goes running down the street and is like, Doc, I'm back. He's like, I just sent you back. He's like, but I'm back again from the future.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was a total Back to the Future moment.
And Stein just has a total like, great Scott look on his face.
Great Scott. There's this great moment where Stein is like, where he's like, where Jax is like, oh, and don't worry about roofing me. I forgive you. I forgive you eventually. And he's like, Ruben, I would never. And he's like, yeah, you do. Don't worry about it. But Jax returns to the future with the time ship intact, and he takes out like all the resistance, and then he basically turns into Firestorm, and they hold everybody off while they get to like the nuclear reactor thing holding the Oculus Rift up or whatever. And this is where we get to the part where Ray is supposed to die, because Ray is the one, since he's like the tech genius or whatever of the group. He is the one who takes it upon himself to disable it. And Rip, knowing what's going to happen because of what he saw inside the Oculus Rift, is like, that's not a good idea. I saw you die from doing this. And like Ray's idea is like, he's like, well, as long as I die, like saving the world, being a hero, I'm fine with it. Is his basic attitude. So he continues to going, but then all of a sudden, Mick can't stand the thought of Ray dying. And so Rick pushes Ray out of the way and takes his place. And then
he's like, you introduced me to delicious cupcakes.
Yeah, you introduced me to delicious cupcakes. And then like Snart can't stand to see Mick sacrifice himself, so Snart pushes Mick out of the way. And it's like, it's so contrived. Like somebody pointed, that is like a really contrived way to get to
everybody's
start dying,
jumping to the front of the line to sacrifice themselves.
It's like, okay, so the writers wanted Snart to die, but it has to be in that machine. Snart isn't going to volunteer in the first place to stop it because Snart doesn't have like any expertise in that kind of field. Ray does, but Snart's also not going to sacrifice himself for Ray sake, but maybe Mick will because they had some bonding time. But Snart will definitely do it for Mick. It's a very convoluted way of just getting Snart to like sacrifice himself on the show.
I like the Marvel call out though. They they called out to the Age of Ultron trailer that used the Pinocchio song, where he's like, "There are no strings on me." when he went out.
I don't think that was specifically a Marvel fallout.
I'm just kidding. But
I like that. Yeah, I liked it when Snart said that though. There ain't no strings on me. That was a cool way for him to go out. Assuming he's like dead and not part of the Speed Force.
He's not dead. The actor signed on. He's going to be not on Legends of Tomorrow as a regular, but like on every Arrowverse show.
Oh, so he's
regular. So he's going to show up like he'll be from episode to episode. He'll be on one of the shows or another.
You're everywhere to me. So yeah, they destroy the Oculus Rift. That's about freeing them from the Time Master's influence. Vandal Savage goes back to 21-6 whatever, and kills Rip Hunter's family. He also has Hawkgirl and Hawkman captive as his captives.
Part of his deal with the Time Masters.
Yeah, part of his deal with the Time Masters. So there's that going on.
Who can no longer help him because they're basically gone.
Oh yeah, the Oculus Rift. Yeah, when the Oculus Rift blows, Time Masters announced to Vandal Savage that they can't help him any longer, but Vandal Savage realizes he can now fully travel in time. Then this leads us into the finale where stuff is gonna happen.
I assume. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, Snart's dead. Everyone's sad. He's not going to be dead forever because this is a comic book show. And we already know he's not going to be gone forever unless he's just like in flashbacks on all the shows.
Yeah, pretty much.
Weird.
There's like a million ways to bring him back. So yeah, he's not.
It's going to be like Earth 2 Snart.
There's Earth 2 Snart. There's past Snart.
He's an accountant.
There's Earth 2 Snart. There's Snart from the past.
Yeah. He's going to be in it in some manner or another on all of the shows. So, but yeah, everyone's so sad that he's gone now. You get to see sad Mick. They did the whole, what was it, where Snart was talking to Sarah and said like, thinking about the possibilities between the two of them. And she says, you'd have to be a hell of a thief to steal a kiss from me. And then, when he like sacrifices himself, she like gives him a kiss, it's like.
Oh yeah. We see like, there was like a budding relationship developing between Sarah and Snart, which was kind of the surprise of the season, really. Like, yeah, she kisses him at the end because he's sacrificing himself, I guess.
Here's your reward for dying. A kiss.
I guess since you're dying, I'll kiss you.
Can't you do a little bit more?
Right, really. Oh God. So that was
we don't exactly have privacy here.
So that was Legends of Tomorrow.
That was the DC-verse, or the Arrowverse.
So that was Arrowverse. That was DC. Now we turn to the Marvel side of the equation, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And this one actually takes some cues from the recent film Captain America: Civil War, where events from that film are brought up. And first, like a brief news summary at the beginning of the episode, and then when Talbot confronts Coulson on the president's behalf to register the Inhumans under the Sokovia Accords, which Coulson is resistant to do.
I like when Talbot was like, hey, it's good enough for the Avengers, and he said, not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. Yeah, I know, right?
Because like Coulson would totally be Team Cap.
Yeah, Coulson would totally be Team Cap. Well, it makes sense because Coulson is the ultimate hardcore S.H.I.E.L.D. loyalist. Coulson is S.H.I.E.L.D. through and through. Peggy Carter and Captain America basically founded S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson has been a Captain America fanboy his whole life. So he'd be Team Cap. I did like that they also had the newspaper article at the beginning that did mention Peggy Carter's recent death too.
Yeah. Which is timely because, the show Agent Carter also died.
Yeah, wow. They just killed her off numerous ways, didn't they? They canceled her show to coincide with her funeral. Good job, ABC.
Yeah. Well, there's a movement now to try to get Netflix to pick up the series, but Haley Atwell already has another show at ABC, so.
Yeah, and I don't support a movement to get Netflix to pick up the series. Just let it be, people. We got other Marvel shows to look forward to.
I think if anything, they could just do what the whole Agent Carter thing sprung off of one of the Marvel shorts that they put on DVDs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they could totally just kind of finish that story with those.
They totally
throw a few of those out, throw some shorts that show the foundation of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff and how it's built up and show some of those old characters that were on the show, have them kind of pop up in it, and that's enough because the second season was retreading a lot of what they'd already done in the first.
Yeah.
It was good through and through, I think. It's just that it was becoming less special with every episode.
So basically another thing is, another thing that's happening is, so basically in the interest of full cooperation, Coulson gives Talbot the grand tour of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of its operations, literally holding nothing back. It seems.
It seems, yeah.
He might be holding something back, but whatever he's holding back, it's unknown to even the viewers at this point. So,
yeah.
Because there's nothing, that you can glean from watching the show that Coulson is hiding from Talbot in this episode. He even shows Talbot lash, It's it seems like he is really not holding anything back from Talbot in the issue of trust and cooperation.
Yeah. Definitely. And Lash was the highlight of the whole episode.
Yeah, Lash was highlighted the whole episode. He even goes so far as to tell Talbot what exactly they're up against right now, what it is, what its plans are. He fills Talbot in a whole 9 yards, and Talbot is like, well, we gotta alert the president. We got and Coulson is like, nah, you think they're gonna believe you? They're gonna believe the devil is gonna launch it, and Talbot's like, well, I wasn't gonna tell them the truth. I'm not that stupid.
He's all, at least let me grab my brother Peter Petrelli and we can help.
Yeah, I know, right? While this is going on, Daisy is talking to Lincoln in secret, and she comes up with a plan that with Lincoln's help, she's gonna help Lincoln escape and come back to her so that Lincoln can get turned by Hive and they could, I
think their official terminology they have for that now is sway.
Sway, yeah.
They seem to say that multiple times in the episode.
Yeah, they say sway multiple times in the episode. Yeah, you're right. So basically, she wants to help Lincoln escape to her so that they can sway him. She lies to Lincoln and tells Lincoln that this isn't the case. She just wants to be with him. Hive doesn't have to be a part of it. Lincoln goes along with, Daisy, basically doing everything he can to escape, with S.H.I.E.L.D. being none the wiser till, the end of it. And then and then when it's revealed that Lincoln took off, Talbot is like, so this is your tight ship, huh, Coulson? Kind of like, kind of like gloating a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's revealed, when the ship arrives at Hive's hideout and Daisy goes to greet it, it opens, and this is well,
it's not Daisy goes to greet it, it's Hive.
Oh yeah, Hive goes to greet it. You're right. Hive goes to greet it. because Daisy was lying about her intentions to Lincoln the whole time. Daisy wasn't going to.
Daisy just can't even get up because she's drained so much blood.
She's drained so much blood, yeah. Which is another thing that happens this episode, because we see, Hive's getting his plans together. Hive kidnaps that group of, anti-Inhumans, the Watchdogs, or something like that.
The Ubisofts.
The Ubisofts. Yeah, the Watchdogs. He captures them and he turns them into these horrible, grotesque, Inhumans, and the scientist that Hive was kidnapped to have work on this project. Pleading for his life. He was horrified at this, and he was he's basically, at this point, he's pleading for his life, promising he could do better, than these abominations. And Hive is just no, this is good.
This is good enough. Yeah.
This is good. So Hive wants to use a nuke or a ballistic missile, I guess. A ballistic missile to turn everybody into these creatures. So that's Hive's big plan. So back to Lincoln arriving at Hive's base where Hive agreed. So the dropship opens, and it isn't Lincoln that greets Hive, it's Lash. And we find out that this was all a ruse, by Lincoln and S.H.I.E.L.D. to trick, Hive and Daisy, so Lincoln never ever betrayed the team. He just went along with it. And nobody knew except for I think Lincoln and Coulson, because I think if anybody else, and May.
Yeah, that was great. I liked Hive's shitting his pants face when he saw Lash.
He saw Lash. Well, I thought it was cool because at first I thought, what could Lash do? Hive will just mind control him, and then, now he has Hive. But it's cool because we find out Lash's true nature. They said, early on, every Inhuman has a purpose, and they kind of kept hinting that Hive had some greater purpose, in past episodes, and we never touched on that. We just hinted at that, and it's
You mean Lash, right? The Lash had a greater purpose.
Yeah, that Lash had a greater purpose, and they just kept hinting at it. Lash said he is the cure, and you're well, the cure for what? The common cold? It didn't seem like they were on their way to answering that, but they answer it this episode because we find out that Lash is actually the cure for Hive, because Hive goes to sway Lash, and Lash does this glowing thing that destroys.
He's done it before. He's attacked with it before.
He's attacked with it. But Hive destroys Lash destroys Hive's parasites, and then Daisy attacks Lash. Lash knocks out Daisy and then cures her. But then that stupid Australian freaking guy, Hot Stuff. Is that actually his name?
No, but it's what we're gonna call him.
Okay. Unless I missed something, that's lame. Hot Stuff.
That's why we're gonna call it. Because there's nothing funnier than calling him Hot Stuff.
Yeah, right. So Hot Stuff ends up killing Lash before Lash could finish off Hive, meaning that Hive is still alive. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s best chance at destroying him is now dead. And so this leads us into the two-part finale where we're promised, because of Daisy's vision, that a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent will die.
So there's something else that happened that plays into that, which is that when we had seen the clips of Daisy's vision, and we'd seen it a few times, it was like a space shuttle. It was floating in space. There was blood. There seemed to be the side of a body. It was just vague enough that you couldn't tell any idea who it was. It could be man, woman, whatever. And you saw blood droplets, but you also saw a cross floating.
Mm-hmm.
And we had seen with Yo-Yo that she had this cross.
Oh, that would be lame.
He gave that cross now to Mac.
Oh. Yeah, but see, See, I'm so against now. Like I know they promised us and teased it, but now that they've kicked Bobby and Hunter off the team to never return and to never have
what if one of them returns at the last minute and then dies?
It's like now we lost Bobby and Hunter. We're going to kill off one more. Like this team is getting smaller by the minute. You know, there's like going to be like 3 characters on this show.
Well, who knows what exactly it's going to be? I mean, it could be something. I'm expecting a swerve on who it is. Right now, they're basically implying it's Mac. And I think it's not going to be Mac. I think it's going to be something else. Because what they've done with the whole, in the episode where they introduced the Inhuman that had this ability in the first place to show visions, none of the visions like happened in the way they thought they were.
Yeah.
Like Daisy thought Coulson was going to shoot her, but he really was shooting a mirror. You know, it's like that kind of stuff.
It's gonna be Hive. Because technically he started the show as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, like Ward will regain his senses. Yeah. And not only regain his senses, but be like sympathetic to S.H.I.E.L.D. again. And then die.
Yeah, I know.
So I expect there's going to be some sort of a swerve in there. I mean, it would be kind of weak if they didn't kill somebody after they promised it for so long.
Well, yeah, they pretty much have to now, but
yeah. So, but I think there's going to be a swerve on exactly who it is. So before they were kind of going like, it's probably going to be an Inhuman, and now they're like, it's probably going to be Mac, and now it's, who knows, you know, like I think they're going to pull a little bit of a swerve on us. They're going to lead us to believe it's going to be Mac, and then it'll end up being somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's it. That's all the shows that we had for today. Best episode of the season, of the week. Who had
that? I might say Flash this week.
I'm going to say Flash too. It was difficult. It was like, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going to get, nope. Flash did because Flash brought the feels. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had the fun, it had the action, it had all the great
I think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode was better done.
It was better done.
There were a lot of holes in the Flash story, you know?
Yeah, there were a lot. Well, it's the Flash, of course. But, like, definitely, the Flash hit those emotional chords this week. And also the direction was a lot better than normal thanks to Kevin Smith. I think Kevin Smith went a long way, too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Flash. I agree with you.
I think Legends of Tomorrow did pretty good, too.
I thought they did pretty, yeah. Overall, it was one of the better weeks for the Arrowverse.
I'm going into the season finale of Legends Tomorrow with a bit more excitement than I had before.
I am, too. I'm actually pretty hyped for this. I'm also pretty hyped for next episode of Arrow as well.
Oh, not me.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, correction, not Arrow, Flash.
Yeah, definitely for the Flash, yeah.
Yep.
I'm not psyched at all for Arrow. Arrow's now the weakest of the 4. It has been like pretty much the whole season.
0.
Has there been a single time where we've done this show where we ended up saying that the Arrow episode was the best of the bunch, or even just not the worst?
Yeah. Well, if it was season 2 Arrow, it would be the best like every week.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Check out our other content on TVEnthusiast.com. We just posted our impressions of episode 4 of Game of Thrones, which had a badass ending. And was better than all 4 of these shows, by the way. So you can check out our impressions of that. We also do a podcast every Thursday, which will go up on Fridays. So you can tune into that and listen to us talk about episode 3 of Peaky Blinders, which we've been watching for that show. And on Fridays, I put up a news show, where I just kind of go over the week's news and what's going on with that. So yeah, check out all of that and any other content we have on the website at TVEnthusiast.com.
All right. Definitely. Good night, everybody.
Night.